If you've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you already know that it discusses understanding assets and liabilities, the spending habits of the rich versus the poor, and how the wealthy use corporations to avoid paying taxes as regular workers. However, there are a few things that Kiyosaki slipped into this book that you might have missed but are crucial for understanding the world today. So, let's get going. First and foremost, your emotions have an impact on your financial situation. Consider your past financial decisions. How many of them were impulsive and how many of them had been taken after a careful and practical thought process? As much as we would like to believe that we make every financial decision logically, many of them are actually emotional choices that we attempt to rationally defend. For instance, many people incur debt in order to purchase a nice car or an expensive home in order to impress others. But, in many cases, we rationalize these choices by weighing all the positives while ignoring the majority of the negatives. For instance, if we want to buy a luxury car, we might explain it by claiming that it is safer since it has more airbags or more fuel efficient. But, in reality, we already wanted to buy the car before we came up with excuses. The two main emotions that most people's financial lives are governed by are fear and greed. The fear of not having enough money causes us to panic and pushes us to desperately seek out money, usually from a job, and before we even receive a paycheck, we start daydreaming about the things that we can buy. Thus, as soon as the paycheck arrives, greed takes hold and everything is gone. This emotional overspending reminds us of the anxiety associated with running out of money. As a result, the stress and panic associated with running out of money return, and the cycle repeats. When we are afraid, we look for money. We are paid, but then we become greedy. We start spending, we blow all of our money, and we are back to square one. These two emotions keep many people running in place for years without any changes in their financial situation, and Kiyosaki refers to this as the rat race. Therefore, working to learn rather than just to work can help you build a stronger financial future. You can also avoid a lot of stress and money by being aware of these two emotions in your own life and taking control of them. Most people accept any work that is offered, and occasionally, if money is tight, we might have to. However, using one's employment to develop a skill rather than just earning a paycheck is something that few people discuss. When you think of a job, you think of going to work and getting paid. But something that Kiyosaki briefly mentions in his book is that using job is a way to learn and practice new skills, and that is way more valuable than the paycheck. You make a very prosperous future by having a job if you learn highly valuable and highly monetizable skills at work. They might be very profitable for you in the future. On top of that, you get to make a paycheck while learning and practicing your skills. So next time you're looking for a job, it might be a good idea to figure out which ones will be able to teach you important and valuable skills. Third, the wealthy don't work for pay. Instead, they occasionally do so in order to create systems that will later provide income. This is where the idea of assets originated. If you observe the most prosperous business owners, you will notice that they put in a lot of effort, and sometimes work without pay to create systems that will function continuously. Therefore, while most people work to earn a living, they eventually do not need to. Once wealthy and prosperous, people seek to create the systems that will enable them to make money, whether they are creating a brick-and-mortar firm where they will need to hire a staff, or an internet business where they can benefit from automation technologies. Even if it means working for free, they concentrate on creating a system that can function without them. If they don't, they will keep working and trading their time for money for the rest of their lives. Number 4. I'm going to say something that you won't like to hear. The money you work so hard to earn isn't really yours. If you think about your financial life, chances are that once you get a paycheck, you start paying things like your rent and bills, your living expenses, your car, your taxes, and spent a little bit of money here and there. If there is any money left over, you save it. It is up to us to decide whether to pay ourselves with the money we earn because otherwise it isn't really ours. The majority of people, especially those who have a respectable monthly salary, have a tendency to spend their hard-earned money on luxuries, like a great automobile or a nice house. However, if you look at some of the wealthiest people in the world, you'll see that they actually pay for other people's luxury instead of their own. Kiyosaki goes so far as to claim that even when he was in debt and had a ton of bills to pay, he still paid himself first. But more on that later. This idea is not novel or inventive, but it is a straightforward idea that can significantly improve your long-term financial situation. Many of the world's most successful people have spoken about this, such as Grant Cardone, who claimed that despite being a millionaire, he still spent money carelessly. Gary Vaynerchuk used the money he earned working at his father's liquor shop to make investments in businesses like Facebook and Twitter. Number 5. You develop into what you learn. The majority of people don't spend time learning and studying how millionaires became billionaires, despite the fact that they are likely to reply yes if you ask them whether they want to be millionaires. We become what we study and what we spend our time on. If we spend all of our time conversing with average people and watching average TV, therefore it is unlikely that we will become millionaires. If we want to become financially successful, we must learn and research people who have previously achieved it because any skill involves time and attention. Number 6. Gain wealth, not just money. See, the majority of individuals work or start businesses that provide paychecks, and frequently, those paychecks can be rather sizable. Since there is a difference between being rich and being wealthy, there are many people who earn hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, but are still not affluent. The key difference is in how they handle their finances. Take a Hollywood actor, for example. For instance, actors who become millionaires buy themselves a nice mansion, the priciest watches, and a few supercars based solely on their acting careers. This is because actors can earn millions of dollars each year from their work in movies. The actor is only rich, not wealthy, because his income is based on his labor and he spends his hard-earned money on luxuries that may make him appear rich, but actually cause him to become poor. In contrast, people who are wealthy do not spend their money on luxuries. They invest their funds in assets that will increase in value and produce enough cash flow to buy their owner's luxury rather than spending millions of dollars on a mansion or a fancy car. Let me explain it with an example. Let's say you do want to buy the car of your dreams, but this car comes with a pretty big price tag. You will have to spend $1,400 a month to own this car, which means you have two options. You can use the money you make through your job or your business to buy this luxury and use your own hard-earned money, or use this money to invest in a cash flow generating asset, like real estate for example, that will make you an extra $1,400 or more per month in cash flow. While also increasing in value at the same time, the second option will not only provide you with enough cash flow to buy the dream car for you, but also allows your net worth to grow simultaneously. Since your original investment is increasing in value every year, and once your dream car is paid off, not by you but by your tenants, you will continue to receive that passive cash flow every month. So, these were 6 such lessons you probably have missed from The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, an amazing book that I would highly recommend. Hope you liked the video. If you did, subscribe this channel and smash that like button. I will see you in the next video. Until then, peace.